This is Ezra Miller choking a woman. Learn it? Think you wanna fight? Is that you? Whoa, bruh, this fight? Which happened right before Ezra Miller began shooting The Flash, which Warner invested $300 million into in mini after the choking incident. Warner wanted to stop the movie, but Warner refused, claiming the choking video was just a joke. And this was due to Ezra Miller being a big investment for Warner, having lived as a major character in the Justice League as well as the Fantastic Beasts franchise, where Ezra Miller, being both non-binary, gave DC the credit of having the first LGBT actor in a superhero role, but they regretted this though quickly into filming, where multiple crew members called Ezra Miller insane, saying they'd have freakouts on set, often running off and threatened to fire people for no reason. And this was kept quiet though until filming ended, but after that Ezra Miller's mental state was lost. Or in a why Ezra Miller was arrested for a karaoke incident, getting angry at a woman saying grabbing her mic and throwing it at her. Having a crazed freak out in public, Ezra Miller had the cops called on them, with police saying was the 10th time in a month the cops were called on Ezra Miller, doing everything from recording people with their phone to following and yelling at people randomly. At being arrested, Ezra Miller also accused the police, calling themselves transgenders, saying they shouldn't be searched by a male cop, threatening to sue the police department. The arrest happened and another arrest happened hours later, where Ezra Miller was asked to leave by the friends they were staying with, only for Ezra Miller to run into their bedroom and threaten to kill them at 3 a.m. They also claimed Ezra Miller stole their passports, IDs, and bank cards. And Ezra Miller was arrested a few weeks later after that for having an argument with a woman in Frogage at them. And Ezra Miller after this left Hawaii, returned to their home in Vermont where they faced more accusations. A woman accused Ezra Miller of touching their child, saying Miller tightly hugged their 12-year-old, saying Miller said their kid had demons and they knew how to control them. And this led Ezra Miller to getting a restraining order. There's also a woman and 3 kids who went missing where they live with Ezra Miller after claiming spousal issues. But the husband sued, saying Ezra Miller was exposing their children to drugs and weapons in their house, with the father saying his 2-year-old put a bullet in his mouth, which he found outside of Miller's bedroom. And the woman ended up vanishing for several months, putting Ezra Miller under investigation. Ezra Miller was also arrested for the 4th time in Vermont, having a break-and-enter in charge from their neighbor, all over just going in and stealing liquor from them. And Ezra Miller was also accused of grooming a teenage girl, Dakota Ironize, a Native American environmental activist, whose parents said Ezra Miller gave LSD to her when she was 14, offered to pay for her student loans at 15, and encouraged her to get emancipated so the activist could live with Ezra Miller. She left her parents at 18, living with Ezra Miller, who was sued by the parents, claiming Ezra Miller groomed their daughter. Ezra Miller also evaded legal notice from the parents' lawyers, traveling Vermont in a car to avoid police and lawyers. But The Flash, after all this, was still released, where it needs to make $700 million to turn a profit, and Warner publicly defended Ezra Miller, despite having fired actors such as Johnny Depp before for claims with far less evidence. Ezra Miller even has had producers say they'd like him back for a sequel, which doesn't look likely, where Ezra Miller is covered in legal issues, and the movie with mediocre reviews is highly unlikely to be profitable, much like Ezra Miller's future career.